Also, Dennis, if you're watching right now, you can say hi in chat and text me if people are saying stuff. But yeah, thanks for showing up in Festus. If you have any comments or whatever, just please let me know. Feedback is always appreciated. I'm fairly new to this, as in I've done it like 2 or 3 times before. But yeah, basically just low level strategy, that kind of stuff, and just having fun. So occasionally I'll try and have Skype or Vent on or something with my friends in the background, which are it usually makes us substantially more entertaining. But currently, my friend Brett is streaming his quote Wednesday night spooktacular, which is basically where he's trying to go through Penumbra. Yeah, he's getting trolled pretty hard. Not gonna lie, he's not the greatest at puzzle games. So yeah, if you'll give me 1 second, I'm just gonna go to an overlay for a sec, and then I'll be right back and play ladder for a little bit more. I gotta go do something in the rest of the house, but I'll be back in like 30 seconds. So, oops, there we go. Okay, and I'm back. So, let's see. Okay. Oh, and he was a silver too, so that makes me feel better that I didn't lose. Like I said, I'm a little out of practice right now. I've been really busy with school. I'm currently taking 17 credits in addition to working about 15 to 20 hours a week, so I get kind of tired and don't usually play as much as I would like, which, just part of life, I suppose. So let's see. Oh, shit, I'm playing Terran again. Oh, against another Terran. So, I could try the same trick. I think I'm actually going to go Cloaked Banshees this game. Cloaked Banshees are a really good unit. Now, admittedly, Terran can scan with an orbital command to reveal cloaked units, but usually they don't, or if they do, it's fairly easy to micro out of. This map is a little bit harder to micro Banshees on, but overall it should be okay.
Not enough minerals.
So yeah. And like I said, I'm really not a great Zerg player, but I'm fairly decent at Protoss and Terran. You might hear me complain about Terran a little bit, but it's mainly just because as Protoss I have a hard time dealing with it. It's my own fault, but, who doesn't love blaming it on something else, right? Okay, and sorry if my stream is lagging a little bit every now and then. So that's going to bring me to 10 supply right there, which means I can throw down my... So as a Terran, usually it's kind of customary to wall in since you're the only race that actually has supply depots that can raise and lower. You don't have to in some matchups. Terran vs. Terran's one of those where it doesn't actually really matter that much because they can usually get either a floating building or an air or just scan, and pretty much every single Terran unit is ranged. So that means that they can actually destroy your buildings from the low ground. I tend to do it just because it lets you hide your tech versus early game scouts like with an SCV or a Marine. It's really up to you. There's nothing that important either way, to be honest. But it's just what I do.
Not enough minerals.
Let's see. So if I'm going to go that, I should probably
Not enough minerals.
start getting gas. So I'm still not sure about what the best build for Banshees are. If anyone actually has a comment, fairly new to the game, switching between Toss and Terran. Eventually stick to one race, so I'm just a sponge for info on both races right now. I'm bronze. Okay, yeah, no problem. I was in bronze for a while, ended up getting my way out of it eventually. I'm actually currently trying to get to platinum because my friend who was a gold just got promoted over the Sista block. And I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie. Actually, we're probably gonna be playing a show match at some point, which I might have my friend comment on, and then post up here at some point. So I'm sure you've realized by now that Protoss really center around their warp gate research. Terran is a little bit more like a traditional RTS in a lot of aspects, namely that you kind of have to have multiple buildings to produce stuff. Like, obviously you need to have warp gates to be able to warp stuff in, but it's a little bit less strict. You can get warp gates and then follow your tech path, and warp gates provide so many units at once that it's really not that big of an issue. In contrast, Terran require, you can build 4 units from a barracks, but it requires a tech lab to build 3 of them. It requires another building to build a ghost even. So it requires more tech structures, but they're also able to turtle up to kind of counterset this, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. So I personally prefer toss most of the time. I do think Terran's probably a little bit easier to learn
Upgrade
overall.
complete.
Although, it really depends on the person's play style. Um, what else should I say? Let's see. I think if you're learning Protoss, the
Add-on
best build to start
complete.
practicing with is honestly a 3-gate robo build. And the reasoning is that 3-gate robo builds historically have been buffed a fair amount recently. Additionally,
Not enough
robo units are
minerals.
very good against pretty much every
Not
race. So
enough
you can get
minerals.
immortals that counter tanks, they counter stalkers, and they counter roaches really, really well. And Colossi do damage to almost every unit in the
Not
game.
enough
So
minerals.
overall, I'd say that that's probably one of the most versatile builds you'll ever
Not
need to
enough
get. So
minerals.
basically, in case you don't know, and I'm going to give you a second if you want to get some way of taking notes. Otherwise, you can just Google it later. 3-gate robo build is basically 9 pylon. Oh, and in case you don't know this, if you're new, when you hear people talking about 9
Add-on
this, 10,
complete.
15 that, that's talking about supply, this number right up here. So when you hit that number for supply is when you should do it. Um, so 9 pylon, 12 gateway, then what is it? It's 12 gateway, 13 assimilator. Um, One second. Okay, let's see. Okay, one second. Macro. Um, what did I say? Oh, the
Not
assimilator.
enough
Then
minerals.
build
Not
up some
enough
more
minerals.
probes.
Not
Get
enough
a second
add-on
assimilator at
complete.
like
Not
15 or
enough
16
minerals.
usually, is what I've seen. And then at that point, he scouted it, so he knows that they're coming. Hopefully, I'll just get enough of them out in time. Um,
Not enough minerals.
and at that point, basically, just get another assimilator. Make sure you have 3 guys
Add-on
in gas.
complete.
And at that point, get up your robo base. Really, I do a 1-gate robo, then add on 2 gates. And keep spending your chrono initially on probes, and then switch over. I can't really give you a mark. You kind of just have to learn when your own place is to chronoing out your warp gate research, and that will suit you fairly well, to be honest. So yeah, that's the basics actually for a 3-gate robo build, and that, like I said, is really good versus quite a lot of things right now. So if you could just be so kind as to repair that. Okay. And if you have any questions or whatever, just type them in chat and I'll check them at some point. Okay. Yep, there we go. Hot King is also really important. Also, if you're new to the game, if you don't already know, watch the Day 9 dailies. They're really good. Newbie Tuesdays, although they're not the most watched, are really very, very useful actually. And the Fun Day Mondays are just entertaining. So, okay, let's see. Okay, so this is gonna come. I'm gonna end up going in with about 4 banshees at once with cloak, which should suit me fairly well. Oh, geez, I'm not macroing very well at all this game. Let's get an expansion.
Yep. Go ahead.
And how about you to build those?
Research.
Okay, let's see.
SCV ready.
Research complete.
And I got that. Nice. Nice. Okay, so yeah, otherwise, other main builds for Protoss, especially, like I said, I'm better with them, so I know more of their builds. Is okay, not at this base, probably down at this one. You can go into fast. Obviously, there's the 4-gate. That's probably the most well-known build for Protoss at this point. I personally don't like to 4-gate. You can win, honestly. Like when players say that you can 4-gate to Masters League, that's not an exaggeration. You legitimately can do that. It's just that I personally don't like 4-gates. They're all-ins, and I don't feel like they're particularly clever ones at that. Like it's my own personal preference, like I said, but you know, it's just kind of, it seems kind of low class to me. Ah, shit. Okay. found a sweet spot. You're gonna be able to kill him in a second. Did some damage at least. Not a lot. Not enough, really, to justify that, but such is life. Let's see, you guys build those over there. Get an orbital. So I'm playing a little bit crappier this game, if I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, I'm familiar with the 4-gate. Yeah, with the all-ins, you know, like, you can do it, like I said, it's just, I personally feel like it's kind of a cop-out in a lot of aspects. Kind of why deprive yourself of actual, like, good play, you know. Let's see, fly down there.
Research complete.
It's far better to learn how to macro when you're low level and then kind of change that. And I am, yeah, okay, I am with, oh wow, there's weird black bars. Oh no, wait, that's just in my view. Never mind, fail at life.
Add-on complete.
Okay, let's see.
In the rear with me. Go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, so overall, what's good to remember is just that macroing really going to help you the most at this point, and microing comes later. That's honestly the best thing you can do. Now, switching over gears to kind of Terran for a second, what's really good about Terran is that they have, well, they have this kind of stuff. They can just start producing things, and they just have the ability to really go all out with the macro. Like, Zerg can certainly... I won't say macro better, but they can, it's a little bit, like, they have the ability to just switch from complete economy to complete units within, like, no seconds at all. It's unbelievable how fast it happens. The thing is that, Terran, though, has the mules, so they can really balance it out so that they're doing both at the same time, which I personally think is even better. Oh god, stay back.
Mineral field depleted.
Go back. Okay, I'm not doing great now. You need to go.
Our SCVs are
Ready
ready.
for
Ready for
SCV ready.
Okay, let's see. I think I'm about to lose this game, actually.
Base is under attack.
I can't chrono boost! Okay, pull the SUVs.
Additional supply depots required.
Yep, did that. GG! Okay, that did not go well for me at all. But yeah, so about Terran. Basically, like I said, there's two main paths for Terran. You can either go mech or you can go bio. And yes, I play a North American. Bio is, I think, better overall. It's more versatile, certainly. It rips apart Zerg for sure. If you go Marauder heavy, it's really hard to hold off as Protoss. Versus Terran, it's not as good, but, you know, that's kind of just what happens overall. Mech is much harder to pull off. It's a higher skill build in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, you have to be able to micro your Marines and split them all over the map as a bio player. But as a mech player, the problem is that your army is so freaking immobile that you have to set up in a positioning war, basically. So you have to go all over the map in the best optimum way without getting caught out of position, without getting flanked, etc., etc. It also means you can't get back to your base easily, so you have to set up more static defenses and whatnot. So I prefer bio myself. Marines, like I mentioned, have unbelievably high DPS when they're upgraded. So what makes Terran interesting is that their tier 1 units, Marines, Marauders, that kind of stuff, actually carries them to the late game. In every other matchup, the basic unit you get as tier 1 hardly does anything late game. So Zerglings, yeah, once you give them the crackling upgrade, they're decent, but you have to have support for them. You have to have Broodlords or Ultralisks or Infestors, something like that. Even Mutalisks. For Protoss, our units are so much tankier that, yeah, Zealots actually can do a fair amount in the late game, but, you know,